All right, welcome to another episode of the Disc Golfing Chiropractor. And today I will be talking about wrists and elbows. Lots of people these days, when they're throwing, they get wrist pain and they get elbow pain, whether it's on the outside, whether it's on the inside. Maybe they have tendonitis in their fingers here, or there's some kind of pain or discomfort in their wrists when they're throwing, or after their rounds, or the day after their rounds. They wake up the next day and they're like, or they throw and it's like, it just hurts, it stings, it bothers them, it's uncomfortable. Well, let's talk about what we can do about that, some solutions for you, and hopefully you enjoyed this. Please comment, give me a thumbs up, let me know what you think. So, the first thing, most important thing probably, to help your wrists and help your elbows is get off your phone. Get off your phone, stop texting for 5 hours a day. I see this a lot, especially in the younger generation. If you have kids, then you know what I'm talking about. They're on their phones constantly, all day, every day. And so it sets them up to have future wrist problems and future elbow problems. Not to mention neck problems, back problems, headaches, migraines, any number of conditions, all kinds of different things. And so number one thing is get off the phone as much as you can. Or if you are on your phone, try to have good posture and be upright so that your spine is okay. Remember, your shoulders, your arms are hanging off of your neck. They're literally hanging off of your neck via the trapezius, the rhomboids, levator scapula, some other muscles in here. And we have your clavicle here, which is kind of connecting it to your axial skeleton here in the midline of your body. But there can be some definite issues there. If your neck is out of position, if something's going on in your neck, then it can translate down into your arm and cause poor mechanics in your arm and your shoulder and your elbow and your wrist. Here's some things that might help you. Some suggestions that I've given to people and they've really enjoyed it. And I do these kind of things myself. So let's first start off with the elbow. If you have tendonitis in your elbow, it's probably beneficial to ice. And that's going to be pain on the outside. It's going to be pain on the inside. Carpenters get it, hammering, tennis elbow, it can be called, where it's just all this, there's just inflammation in the tendons, in the muscles that control the wrist. Now, the reason I lump these two together is because a lot of the muscles, or some of the muscles anyway, that control the wrist, they go across the elbow. So you see here when I extend my wrist, you see these muscles? They're actually going across the elbow and they're attaching to the humerus. When you flex your wrist this way, some of these muscles cross the elbow joints and go right in here. Now there can be sprains and strains and certain conditions where it's really wise to get some professional advice, but let me just go through a few things that might help you and might help you feel better and play longer and have more fun in your rounds. So the first thing is a basic stretch here, is stretching the wrists. So flexing the hand here and pulling it here towards you. That's a wonderful stretch. You can even curl the fingers here just to get a nice stretch through these muscles a little bit. You'll probably feel it more so in the back of your wrists here. Just getting a nice stretch there and getting a nice stretch on this side too. You can pull it this way. You can put it on your hand like so, and you'll feel that stretch coming right through here. Oftentimes these muscles get strained here just because there's too much, you're doing too much with them. Whether it's typing at a keyboard or being on your phone like this, or with your thumbs here, you're just constantly kind of stressing those muscles. So first thing is to stretch. Second thing is also, before your rounds, make sure you warm up your wrists. We have 8 bones here. We have 26 bones in the hand, and we want to loosen up all those joints. Even on the hand you don't throw with. Why not? Let's keep that one healthy too. So just doing circles here, warming it up 10 times each way. With the elbows, you can kind of just move them around like so, do circles with the elbows, and of course doing your shoulders. And you can check out my shoulder video if you haven't already. 10 circles each way, lubricating those joints, bringing more blood flow into the joint. That blood flow is going to help build synovial fluid in that joint. It's also going to help supply more blood into the muscles, getting warmed up for your rounds. It's a wonderful thing to do. Again, I don't really like the static long-term hold stretches before the round. You can do those in the evening or after your rounds, but the dynamic stretches or just stretching briefly back and forth, getting those circular rotations in the wrists, that's excellent to do before the rounds. The next thing is icing. Icing can be a good thing if you're in pain, if there's inflammation in there. Now, we don't want to do too much. We have to remember the purpose that your body makes inflammation for in the first place. Why does your body even make inflammation? Think about that one for a second. Oftentimes people talk about anti-inflammatories, getting rid of inflammation, but we have to remember that your body makes inflammation for a reason. It's so that it can increase blood flow, and it can help build a little bit of scar tissue maybe to help stabilize the structure. So we don't always want to villainize that inflammation or get rid of it, but it can help you get out of pain in the short term. Generally speaking, people say ice, or physicians will say ice about the first 2 days after an injury, and then heat after that. But that's something to talk about with a professional if you need their advice. So let's talk about a little bit more about release techniques and muscle work techniques a little bit. So we have all of these muscles here, as you can see, coming on the back, and there's deeper muscles deeper than these, but these are the superficial ones on the surface. So what we can do here is extend the wrist, apply some pressure. Fine, there might be some tenderness. I mean, I don't really have much, but usually there is on people that might have an issue here. Just put a little bit of pressure on one of those muscles, and then flex the wrist there, and then flex the elbow, and that fully extends that muscle, or fully stretches that muscle, I should say, through this range of motion. Now, we kind of do that in a few different spots, maybe find another tender zone right in there, and grab the thumb. This can be helpful. Turn your hand away and flex your wrist, and then continue through and flex your elbow there. Doing this maybe 2 or 3 times. Don't go overboard with it. Yeah, might this create a little bit more inflammation? It might create a little bit more inflammation in the short run. Generally, I find people that do this for about 2 weeks get a great result. They find that their muscles feel healthier, they feel more resilient. Now, of course, we always have to look at more proximal things like the shoulders and the neck, because those can play a great impact on how our elbows and our wrists function. We can also do that on the front here on the inside. So we find a spot that might be tender, put a little pressure on that, flex our wrists, and then we extend our wrists and we extend our elbows. And we can even cross the elbow into onto the humerus itself. This little bump that you see right here, that's part of your humerus bone. It's not part of your forearm bones. And so we can go right on the surface of that, put a little bit of pressure, extend here, and then extend the wrists. This can be pretty beneficial for that as well. When it comes to the thumbs, very delicate. Of course, we're gripping the disc. We're gripping it pretty firmly sometimes when we're throwing hard. We want to pay attention to the muscles that control our thumbs. So we have sets of muscles. If you look here, we have a few tendons right there, and we have some tendons right here. And those are different muscles. So back here and here, they come around, they wrap around the forearm. They wrap around the radius. This bone is your radius. You remember that because something's rad, you give it a thumbs up. So it wraps right around the radius here. So you can kind of feel them in there. So if you have some kind of tendonitis in here, this might help. Of course, if it's bothering you, if it makes it worse, don't do it, of course. And seek professional advice whenever possible. So extend the wrist, extend the thumb, put a little bit of pressure there, right here underneath my thumb, and tuck the thumb in, grab it with your fist, and then ulnar deviate away, just flexing your arm away and flexing the wrist. Good. And you should feel a little bit of a pull in there. This one's a little bit tender on me, probably from throwing a bunch this past weekend. But right in there, you'll feel these little muscles kind of popping out right on your wrist there. Put a little bit of pressure, tuck your thumb in, and do this motion here. Good. So Those are a few things that can help your wrists, your thumbs, your fingers, your elbows, keep you feeling healthier, playing longer, throwing longer, just having a great time. My name is Dr. Jeremy Steele. I'm a chiropractor here in Lafayette, and I enjoy making these videos for the disc golf community, and I hope you enjoyed it as well. If you have any questions, again, please feel free to reach out, leave a comment, give this video a like, and I will look forward to seeing you in the future. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.